Hey, this is Jimbo for Two Shots on a Barrel, and I'm hanging out with my buddy, J-Bo.
What's going on, buddy?
Well, listen, I figured it was time that we tell everybody how much we appreciate you guys listening to Two Shots on a Barrel. We would appreciate also, J-Bo, if they would go out and review the show, give us some good constructive criticism. But honestly, J-Bo, we like 5 stars and just really good comments.
That's right. And if you could avoid doing it when you're really drunk, that would be a very helpful situation. You left a review for me on a page, and obviously you were 10 past where you should have been leaving that review. But yeah, just even if you have to lie, talk good about us, please.
Absolutely. We're available on all kinds of podcast platforms, including iTunes, iHeartRadio, Spotify, you name it, we are out there. The other thing, J-Bo, is we would love to hear from you. If you know somebody that would love to be on the show, you can always reach out to us, J-Bo. Tell them
That's
how.
right. We have an email, and we've had it for about a year now, but we keep forgetting to tell you we have it. It's 2shotspodcastshow@gmail.com. That's the number 2, 2shotspodcastshow@gmail.com. Please send us an email.
And I think the cool thing to tell everybody too, J-Bo, is we're very active out on social media. We've got a Two Shots on a Barrel group page on Facebook. You're also a TikTok guy. I didn't realize you were a TikTok guy, but we actually do TikTok, Instagram, and all kinds
Yeah,
of
we're on
things.
We're on everything. We're not really good at it, but we're on there. So get on there, laugh at our TikToks, and I'm sure I'll get Jim on a TikTok here before long.
All it takes is for one to go viral, J-Bo, and as crazy stupid as you are, it's probably going to happen.
It's going to happen. Either I'm going to get frostbit doing these TikToks, or we're going to have them go viral.
So we're excited about Two Shots. We are broadcasting out of our studios here in Main Street, Bourbon Country. It's a state-of-the-art studios where we're going to have many, many guests and many, many shows for you to listen to.
That's right. We're right here in the Pearl of Lebanon. Lebanon Health and Fitness in downtown Lebanon, Kentucky, just sideways of Rigetti's restaurant.
Make sure when you are on the Bourbon Trail, if you're staying in Marion County in Lebanon, make sure you come by. They have a state-of-the-art fitness center. It's really a all-inclusive center for whether you're men, women. They've got a place that your kids, if you're coming in for the Bourbon Trail with your kids, I have no reason to understand why you would be doing that. But in case you are,
Right.
they can do it all right here at Lebanon Health and Fitness.
If you're only going to be here a day, they have $7 one-day fees to come in and work out all day long.
Yeah, so
Can't beat it.
Anyways, with that said, we appreciate you listening to our shows, and without further ado, it's Two Shots on a Barrel.
Two old boys ain't much for working. 2 shots on a barrel and they're talking about bourbon. Talking about a few other things that they don't know. If you've got a question, no need to ask. They don't have a clue, so raise your glass. Take a sip with the Bowl Brothers. Now it's on with the show. From the heart of central Kentucky, the bourbon capital of the world, it's Two Shots on a Barrel with your host. A couple of hot shots of their own, the Bowl Brothers.
The Bowl Brothers. There you go, coughing again. And you can't blame me and the cigar.
Look, it's right in my face.
Well,
Come on,
I mean,
man.
grab a cigar and start
I
smoking
might have
it.
to.
I mean,
I might have to.
it would improve your coughing.
Evidently so. How you doing, man?
Man, I'm doing good. Survived Christmas. I guess you did as well.
I guess. We still have one more party this weekend.
Yeah.
And then we're taking all that stuff down.
Got a big New Year's planned, I'm sure.
Oh, not really. We're just going to chill at home.
Really?
Yeah, I think so. We might do one of those, run over, see the family, and then tuck our tail and run home. Kind of just chill. It's one of those New Year's. Don't feel like partying.
You know, the last show we did, I believe that was the show that wasn't that the show that your lovely bride brought by some wonderful Lebanese concoction?
Yeah, it was slightly terrifying because I'm sitting here and somebody goes whack right in my back and nobody's in there.
Yeah.
So she snuck in and and got me there and gave you all a bunch of goodies.
So mine lasted not even 24 hours. just let the record show. Harry Van Wy, by the way, told me his did not last an hour.
Nice.
So
you ate them all.
You know that was some good stuff. So thanks,
Baklava.
Baklava. I was hoping you would say that because I was thinking something totally different than that.
Baklava. Don't get it wrong.
Yeah,
you might not get any next year.
I'm on the good list. I'm on the good list.
You are.
Well, we're back in the studio today, and we've got not one, not two, but three guests, J-Bo.
I think it's going to get a little rowdy in here today. A couple of have already been on the show. They know what to expect. But we got one newbie, man.
We're going to break him in right, aren't we?
Got to break him in good, man.
Yeah, we're going to break him in good. We've got, for absolute the first time ever in the history of Two Shots, 3 generations of the bourbon industry right here, right now, in the Two Shot studio.
We have been working on this for a long time. We've wanted this to happen for a long, long time. But one of the 3 is a mega superstar, so his schedule's kind of crazy.
Yeah, he's got to travel. I got to go to this island, and and then after I get back from that island, I got to go to Wyoming for a while, and then I'm like, okay, well, just call us when you can do it. We finally roped him in, though.
Man, tell everybody who's in the studio with us.
Oh, we got really Roy, not Royce. What am I looking at here?
Stick with Mercedes.
How many's he had already?
not enough because I don't mispronounce that. What is it talking about? Royalty, J-Bo. That was the word I'm looking. We got the royalty of the bourbon industry in the studio. 3 generations we talked about. Let's start with the first, kind of the big dog, J-Bo.
Go ahead, man.
Steve Nally. Steve Nally is in the house.
Yeah, all right.
Hey, how's the studio look since last time you've been in here?
Oh, this is much improvement. We don't have to hide bottles. We don't have to set up right before I come in. There's nobody worried about confiscating everything. So it's looking much better. I think you're on your uphill climb. I think you're doing good.
This is kind of our the equivalent of our little speakeasy.
That's right.
I think you could say. Then we've got our this is royalty in his own right. Our very first guest of Two Shots on a Barrel was none other than Chad Little Beano Spalding with Independent Save Company.
First of all, you should have stopped. Yeah. Royalty stopped a minute and a half ago after Steve. I've been called a lot of things in my life. Royalty is certainly not one of them. So let's get that straight. I've only just been around a while and fell into this. But appreciate you guys letting us come on. And one other thing before we get any further, we do have to. This 3 would not be possible without Monty.
You're true. You're true.
I would get that out there
right
off the board. If she hadn't been so cute back in high school, this next generation would not have come along.
Well, you know what? I mean, she is his favorite twin, so I mean that's why.
Listen.
Let's don't go starting that stuff now.
Yeah, so
you'll have the other twin up here.
Yeah,
this studio will not exist any longer.
Yeah. So I got a story to tell about the twins a little bit later because we've been laying some groundwork as far as having these 3 guys on, and it is a competitive spirit between the 2 twins. So we'll talk. I'm sure we'll talk more about it. But you're right, Bino. Great point. Without Monty, sorry, Mickey. That's just facts are facts. Without Monty, there would be no third guest for sure, and that is our man Ethan Spalding. What's up, brother?
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
What up, dogs? How does it feel, man? Because listen, let's take Bino out of the equation. When your granddad is somebody like Steve Nally, I mean, goodness gracious, that's some big shoes to even think about filling.
Yeah, you're 100% right. It's like looking up at Mount Rushmore and seeing the current state of bourbon, and then you're just a pebble at the bottom of that mountain. So it's a long way to go up, but it's very daunting, but looking forward to trying to get back up to where he's at right now.
So, Steve, when you were celebrating just a year or so ago, 50 years in the bourbon industry, you had to think for a second, just like Ethan, you were that little pebble too. 50 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, when I first went to work down at Maker's Mark, I was just, like you said, the pebble, and I had no idea that it would develop. And I was just a worker that went in knowing absolutely nothing about the process, the industry. I was born and raised right beside the distillery, but I rode my bicycle past it every day or a lot of days, and I had no idea that one day I would work there, and 50 years later, I would be at this position thinking, wow, I've been in the industry 50 years already, and it's just been great. So, time passes, you enjoy it all, and all of a sudden it's there.
Yeah.
So, Ethan, your grandfather got started at Maker's Mark. Where did you get your start?
I mean, in a sense, whenever I was younger, Maker's Mark, because I was
Mark
always
as well?
around him. But no, I got my start. I don't know. It kind of stems back from my childhood, I guess, just being surrounded by bourbon, and I really couldn't get away from it. It was just kind of a way of life more than anything. And then went to school, didn't do anything really bourbon related there, except maybe drinking it after my junior year. And then from there, kind of dove into some tourism side things in the bourbon industry, and then worked at Independent Stave for a little stint there for probably 3 or 4 months, and did what's called the Master Craftsman program, which is where you do every single job in the facility from start to finish. So the first week I was helping out with orientation papers in the office and filing all that stuff. And the last day I was there, we were actually, I think the last day I was there, we were over at KBB, which is their secondary cooperage, basically, and checking out barrels over there and fixing them up. But then from there, a little company called Buzzard Roost kind of reached out to me and wanted to get the ground rolling. They're a brand new company for the most part, and then I was brand new into the industry, so they took a chance on me and getting started on both of us on the ground floor and watch each other grow, and here we are now.
Rest is history.
Awesome.
One of the things that I remember, Bino and I've been buddies for a long time, and I remember when we talked to Bino about how he kind of got started at Kentucky Cooperage, Independent Stave. It was a similar process for you, Bino. I remember you talking about, you learned the whole process of what goes on with a barrel. Steve, you got to have those brand new charred barrels, but you learned the whole process, right, Bino?
Yeah, when I got hired in 1998, so I've been in this 25 years now, so half the time that Steve's been involved in the entire industry. So my 25th anniversary was this past summer. But yeah, so 1998, when I was hired in as a supervisor trainee at Kentucky Cooperage, the training was to spend 8 weeks in every department out there. And that's from the stacks out on the yard you see out there to maintenance to every department to the loading the barrels out the back. So, after about a year and a half of doing that, then I kind of moved into a little different role. But I spent 3 years in the cooperage out here prior to getting into a quality assurance customer relations job that I did for 15 years after that. And then now the last 6 years, what we call an account manager, basically barrel salesman, whatever you want to call it, managing all of our craft accounts is where it started. But I manage Bardstown Bourbon Company where Steve's at, and then from
you
them,
still manage Bardstown Bourbon
so
Company.
from them down is what I manage for Independent Stave. And of course, Bardstown Bourbon Company is not craft for sure anymore. They're huge compared to, but I manage them all the way down to the guy that buys 1 barrel a year. I've seen distilleries that fit in smaller rooms than what we're in currently. And even, at Buzzard Roost, I manage that account where Ethan's at, and their operation is small compared to like Bardstown, of course. So I cover a wide range of customers, which is super neat. And then I did bring some of those along, so something that you've never heard of and or tasted for sure. So, but no, it's been a great 25 years. I mean, the Boswell family that owns Independent Stave, super appreciative that they gave me the chance early on, and I stuck with it. Although those first year and a half or so working in the cooperage,
Right.
I mean, my ass was dragging, and I was young then.
So you weren't just spending time in these departments.
no.
You were working your ass off in these
absolutely.
departments.
Yeah, I got scars from that place. But looking back, it was certainly the best way to learn. And now when I talk about it to customers or even to coworkers or whatever, they understand it. I've been there, I've done it. I know what I'm talking about for the most part. Although, every day's a learning experience, as we all know. So, I'm always learning something new. But just being around and being a really good listener, is key in picking up, a lot of things in life, not just about the cooperage industry or distilleries or whatever. So, just it's been great. Brad Boswell, Independent Stave Company, has been great to me. I hope to work another 25 years if I'm alive. Keep drinking this whiskey though. I don't know if it's good or bad. It seems to be good. My dad Bino, he's on the program, and he seems to be doing fine. I don't know. It keeps your blood thin, keeps your heart pumping.
That's always my excuse. It's keeping my blood thin.
Magic elixir, for long-term life.
Now look, Sean Woodyard came in here and he said, "I can go to any department. I can just kick anybody's butt. I can still do it." You feel that way?
He could come to the sales department and probably kick my butt. Yeah, I'm not going to deny that. No, but man, we got a lot of great people up there. I mean, Sean, one big example of the type of people that Independent Stave as a whole, they hire damn good people. I've literally, not seen them make too many mistakes on folks that they hire. So, and Sean was certainly one of those people. That was a great show, by the way, and to listen to his story.
It was incredible.
But, Independent Stave, the last 10 or 12 years, whatever he's been there, has been a big part of him being even more successful than what he was already on a good track.
Listen, a lot of people wouldn't have given a guy like Sean Woodyard a chance.
Oh, certainly not. No, and that's anybody up there. You can go up there. And people who are in supervisor roles or quality roles, they have worked their way up through that plant, from just the same way I did, basically. You always, if you show that you're an ISC guy and you got what it takes, they'll reward you and they'll send you on up, and let you keep, looking further and further.
So Steve Nally, grandson is now in the bourbon industry. What's that mean to you? As a granddad?
Well, it means a lot. It's very fulfilling to know that that's happening, and to relate a little bit to Chad's comments. Nowadays there's a lot of distillers, a lot of people in the industry that have read books, they've taken a course, and they come in, they think they know everything. People like the way we've gone through it, that I call it the school of hard knocks, that you've gone through and you've worked every job. The first 17 years I was at Maker's Mark, I worked every job down there. I rolled barrels. I got in the ditches, and, I did everything that was there. And I could go back, and within a few minutes, I could pick up every job that's at Bardstown Bourbon, because I know what it pertains to it. So, it means a lot to know that. And a lot of people that are in management roles now, they cannot do that. They have no idea what's going on out on the floor. And it just means a lot that Ethan is going that route. He's down at a place now that he's learning everything about the operation. He knows what valve to turn, what motor does what vessel does what, everything about it he's going to know about in a very short time. So, to know that that's happening, it's very fulfilling to me to know that somebody's following in the footsteps. And the distilling industry is that kind of industry. It's a family-oriented industry, and not just from within the company. It's from company to company that, if I have a breakdown at Bardstown, I could call almost any other distillery, and if they had a part or a piece of equipment or some type of knowledge, they'd more than willing to come and help me. They would bring it over and they'd help me put it in. They would do anything, they could. And one thing I always relate back to is the Heaven Hill fire that happened years ago. Other companies didn't turn their back on them. They started producing for them. They sold them product. They helped them get back on their feet. And no other industry that I know of would have done that.
Yeah, find me one more industry that would have done that.
Yeah. That's just the way that the whole industry's been. I mean, maybe out in marketing they're a little bit more selfish or a little bit more
Cutthroat.
But when you get on production, I mean, it's family based, it's friend, it's everybody's just really good to each other.
So Ethan, so you're at work. I tried to come visit you the other day. Got there too early. I told you about running into the door.
Would you want his autograph? Is that what you were doing?
I did. I was going to show my kids that, hey, I know this guy. I've known him since he was a baby. Let's go see him. But have you been at work at the Buzzard Roof downtown? Has your grandfather popped in to see you working yet?
You see how his face over there.
Has he been there yet?
He hasn't been there yet.
Oh my
no.
goodness! I mean, because he'll shut the place down when he walks through.
Yeah, I know. We have to get extra pins out for him to sign.
You're gonna have to. You're gonna have to.
But no, he hasn't come down yet. We've been having some help coming in and out of the distillery to try and figure out different solutions to what we're doing. Not necessarily wrong, but what we can do to do better. So we've had a few people come in and help us out, and I've asked him a couple of times, but it's always the same thing you guys were saying earlier. Oh, I'm in Wyoming for the next 6 months.
That's right.
But Bardstown Bourbon Company just opened up a place about a block and a half away from us.
Oh, so. It's not even that far, I don't think.
So Steve will have to make some cameo appearances.
I've only been down there.
I don't blame you. I mean, driving up in Louisville isn't the most favorable thing in the world. So
yeah,
I'm with you.
But
yeah, so Ethan talks about those people that have come and fixed his problems and things like that. So quick funny story. I'm at work. Ethan calls me. I'm like, I could hear it in his voice soon. I was like, oh crap, man, what's going on? He's like, well, he's talking about it's still and it's doing this and it's cloudy. I'm like, do you understand? You called me. Like, were you trying to call Steve, or were you trying to call Vendome? I was like, all right, well, slow down a little bit. I have phone numbers for people who can fix your problem. I don't know anything about your damn still down there. I don't know why your water's cloudy, or I don't know what's going on. So I can't help you with that. But just don't freak out. Let's talk to somebody. But yeah. So anyway, and let's back up one more step, because Ethan's new to the podcast, to the mic. He seems a little nervous. His background. So he went to Midway University. He has a degree in marketing and a minor in bourbon studies. So he didn't reference the point that he didn't just fall into this. Right. He didn't. Just, he's not dummy. He has a how many more whiskeys? But he has somewhat of the education, knowing that he did like the industry. He liked the fact that he had been around Steve and myself and our families, and that we all like to drink bourbon or whiskey or whatever. And it's real cool, and it's a happening industry currently.
Yeah, sure.
What a great way to get into it. Then with that type of education to go along with it. So I think once he got out of school, or right towards the end of the school, he realized that production side is kind of where he wanted to go first with this. And then I'll kind of let him chime in on that. But I wanted to make sure that people understood that he didn't just get into this because I've been in the cooperage industry, or his dad's, or his grandfather.
Well, and that's one of the things that when you were talking about it, and I remember Ethan going to Midway. By the way, Ethan is one hellacious of a golfer.
Oh, heck yeah.
And that led to his decision to go to Midway. But I remember you telling me that, Bino, that Ethan was going to minor in bourbon studies, and I thought, how perfect of an industry or a minor could you go into in the Commonwealth of Kentucky at this very moment, bourbon studies. So tell me a little bit about that, Ethan.
Yeah, so like you guys were saying, I went initially, not just the whole part of it, but initially I went to Midway to go play golf, and the whole idea of me picking up my marketing major in the beginning was actually I thought I was going to sell barrels like my dad. So that was also a part of my stint at ISC. So I did that with that in mind, and then they were telling me, because I'm so smart, they told me, they said, you're going to graduate in 3 years, right? And I was like, well, I'd like to play 4 years of golf at least, especially since we had a COVID year in between there to kind of ruin that. So I was like looking at minors, and I didn't really find anything I liked until I found bourbon studies minor, and I went to my advisor and I was like, hey, I want to do this next year. And he was like, oh, we're getting ready to get rid of that, actually. And I was like, damn it. So he calls me at the end of the semester. He goes, good news, we're bringing the minor back. And I was like, sweet, sign me up. So, I did that for, I guess that was the last 2 years of my college career. That was not the majority of my classes, but I minored in bourbon studies, and outside of class mastered in bourbon studies, and I did a lot of my own research there. But yeah, that kind of helped me. It was more focused on the tourism side of bourbon rather than the production side. So once I left school there over that summer, I went and worked at a tourism company, basically, that drives you around to different distilleries and whatnot. And I got to learn the ins and outs of distillery touring, what people like, what people don't like, what catches people's eyes, what products they like, what products they don't like, and kind of the ins and outs of all that. So that was really beneficial to me as a first step into the industry rather than just diving right into production. So I saw that side of things, and I like, shaking hands and kissing babies a lot of times, but sometimes there are days where you just don't want to look at a person. So I figured instead of just having to do that every day, I'll go back in the still room and keep my head down on production there. So.
Steve, do you ever have any of those days where you just don't want to see anybody?
I have had, when you spend 25 hours looking at, wonder why in the hell that don't work.
I can see that.
That's awesome. But I think, Bino, I'm sitting there thinking, point well taken, though. If ever you have a situation where you can say, my granddad is Steve Nally, or my dad is Chad Spalding, and you're playing Mr. Humble, but listen, you've know a lot of people that know a lot of people in the bourbon industry, and it would have been very easy for Ethan to say, hey, I know some of these guys, and just kind of ride that coattail. That's not what he did.
No, he put the time in, with the degree, the major and the minor. He went out that summer, worked with that tour company, and then worked at the cooperage. I mean, he did the same thing I did.
Yeah.
The cooperage was get in there and get after it, for that 3 or 4 months. So, yeah, he put some time in, certainly didn't get anything handed. Did it, once we decided, all right, now, not we. I mean, it was his decision, but, as a family or as a father-son, it's like, all right, so what do you want to do? Because I do know a lot of people in the industry. And then we talked about it, and there was, I put out some feelers with a few folks, and he went through some interviews with more than with just Buzzer Druce, who he's with now. Mm-hmm. After he went through some interviews, and we talked about it and discussed, what the best route was, and certainly Buzzer Druce is a fantastic choice, I think, where he's at, because it's a smaller operation. He's a one-man show. Now, he did have to learn the hard way on some things, but you don't get thrown into just a big factory. Like Bardstown Bourbon Company probably would have been an option. But it's a big operation with lots of people. And so we didn't even really go that route. We didn't want to get in there. In time, will he, land at some big, large distillery? Possibly. I don't know what he wants to do. He's a grown-ass man nowadays. I'm pretty much, did what I thought I needed to do as a father. Yeah. And kind of, now he's 24 and still lots of time left in this industry, but I'll let him make his own decisions from there on out.
No, I get it.
Well, Jim, we really need to tell Chad that being a friend of Chad, it can sometimes be burdensome. You might feel this way. You might feel this way. By knowing you, Chad, and we're just peeing.
I'm just trying to figure out where you're going with this.
We have some guys, some owners of distilleries that call us. Try
to get us.
Little Bino, right? You know Chad. Yeah, he's a buddy man.
Yeah, we actually. You're right about that.
Can you call him and get us some barrels?
I do remember that. By the way,
that is true. That is a true statement.
Does it happen with you all? I mean, hey, call your daddy. We need some more barrels.
Yeah, all the time.
What about when Steve Nally calls and says, "I need some damn barrels"?
About a year ago, we needed about 50,000 barrels. Did we get all of them from them? No.
Come on, Chad.
Yeah, so let me put that out there, folks. If you were ever shorted barrels, even Bardstown Bourbon Company was shorted barrels. So we ran into a little hiccup, and everybody, all the distilleries ramped up, and we just didn't have enough barrels, and no other cooperages were, trying to ramp up. So we're back now.
That's a good
It was a good problem to have, don't get me wrong, but not really. It was uncomfortable for me to have to tell folks that, no, I can't get you all the barrels you want, especially Bardstown Bourbon Company.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm you, I'm like, listen, I can't even get my father-in-law the barrels that he needs right now.
I used that a time.
I'm sure you did. I'm sure you did.
But we got invited back to Christmas this year. So
That's good.
That's awesome. All right,
We even had some of our customers that we produced for us say, well, can't you get us some barrels? I said, no.
That's awesome. We're going to go to our first break. I got to tell you, J-Bo, we were talking about this and before we went on, and you were saying stuff like, if Steve Nally was my granddad, man, I'd be saying all the time, get me this job, get me that job, and riding those coattails. You see what it's like to be honest and hard work.
I need to take that
and
route,
it pays off.
I need to take that route.
You can't just ride those coattails.
I'm going to work on
You work hard.
Change my ways.
Yes.
All
right, we're going to be right back with more 2 Shots on a Barrel.
Kill it.
Yeah, I got to get that one in there. All right. All right, so J-Bo, I found out the older you get, the more kids, as your kids grow older, you suddenly have a damn fleet of vehicles.
And the both of us, man, we can tell you all about it. We both have brand new 16-year-olds hitting the road. So let me tell you how often we're visiting Big Old Tires these days.
And it's important when you got your 16-year-old out on the road, you have good tires.
Oh, absolutely.
And the place to go, we know, is Big O Tires of Lebanon and Bardstown.
That's right. Billy Taft has been doing this a long, long time. If you want advice on getting the perfect tire for the perfect vehicle, go to Billy Taft first at Big O Tire.
And not only can they supply you with some great tires, they also can do oil changes, brake work, you name it. And here's the cool thing that really impressed me when I visited Billy Taft and Big O Tires the last time. That dude is customer service extraordinaire. Absolutely.
He's been like that as long as I've known him. I've known him a long time. He's a great guy, just like off the court than he is on the court. He's just A+, and I love that dude. He's really, really genuine, and he knows his tires. And if you're having problems, let's say this weather's crazy, okay? It's raining a bunch. Go in there and let him put new windshield wipers on your car besides going and trying to do it yourself. I'm speaking by experience here, Jim Reed. It's a terrible, terrible thing to do, putting wipers on yourself.
No. Big believer in Big O Tires of Lebanon and Bardstown, right here in the heart of Bourbon country. If you're in for the Bourbon Trail, your car kind of messes up on you, go see our friend Billy Taft.
Pit stop, it's all it is. Pit stop, you're in and out and off to the next distillery.
There you go. Big O Tires of Lebanon and Bardstown, a proud sponsor of 2 Shots on a Barrel. All right, so one thing we've learned on 2 Shots is it's important to know where to go when you need a good attorney, Joe.
Yes, sir. It's very important nowadays. We've had to get one of our own here lately, and we got the best in the business.
We absolutely do, and we found out one morning when you go visit Don McCauley, you better enjoy bourbon and stick around for a while. Because not only is she very good and an expert attorney, she also knows her bourbon.
She does know her bourbon, and she knows where to get it, and she will not tell me where the secret stash is located. But that's okay.
But she'll bring out many of the unicorns that she has in her house, and we enjoyed spending time with her. But on a serious note, we know that folks listening out there need to have good legal representation. Don McCauley.
Don McCauley, you are right. 144 West Main Street in Lebanon, Kentucky. Her phone number is 270-692-0684. If it's legal anything, she will take care of it. She will be there for you, and she will be the voice that you need to get through this situation.
We're talking real estate law. We're talking business law. We're talking anything criminal related, divorce, you name it, bankruptcy, any of those things, Don McCauley can take care of you.
if you're nervous and you just don't know which way to go, if you need that voice, call Don McCauley. Once again, 270-692-0684.
Yeah, good stuff right here in Bourbon Country. Don McCauley, Law Office of Don McCauley. Thanks.
Marion County Trail could be the best value in bourbon-themed travel in Kentucky. You'll experience one of the Kentucky Bourbon Trail's crown jewels, one of the Bourbon Trail Craft Tour's top-rated stops, and something you can't find anywhere else. Organized tours of a bourbon barrel manufacturing facility, all in one place. It's the Marion County Trail. Take your time to tour, dine, shop, and stay all along the way. Explore world-famous Maker's Mark, a hot ticket item on the Kentucky Bourbon Trail. Limestone Branch Distillery, home of world-famous Yellowstone bourbon, and one of the top-rated stops on the Kentucky Bourbon Trail Craft Tour. Kentucky Cooperage, the sprawling plant where the thriving bourbon industry's barrels are hand-built and seared with fire for bourbon aging flavor. And Lebanon, home of wonderful dining opportunities from home-cooked to chef-driven. Unique shopping opportunities, nowhere else to be found murals for your selfies, and overnight accommodations that range from traditional to bed and breakfast to bourbon-themed. Go to visitlebanonky.com for more details. Lebanon Tourist and Convention Commission, 270-692-0021.
Tired of paying rent? Do you dream of owning your own home? Now's the time to make that dream a reality. Call Lisa, 270-402-4036. Have you outgrown your current home? Need more space? Or just the opposite? Are you looking to downsize? Call Lisa, 270-402-4036. Whether buying or selling, now is the time. Call Lisa, 270-402-4036. Lisa Kearns Realtor, Exit Realty Bluegrass, 270-402-4036. Call or text Lisa Kearns, the helpful agent.
The only reason I like him is because when I call him,
All right, back to Two Shots on a Barrel. Happy New Year's to everybody. We'll be releasing this show, and J-Bo, you'll probably be partaking in some champagne and those little fancy horns that you blow.
You know what? I might be partaking in this JT Mellick stuff without Chad knowing about it that he brought
So you're
today.
a big fan of that.
That is really good,
this
man.
is I'll let Lil Dino do the honors of telling everybody about this selection.
yeah, so it's called JT Mellick. It's out of Louisiana. It's a 100% rice whiskey, which is unusual. So I tried to bring in some stuff today that you hadn't tasted, number one, and that was quite different from any of the bourbons that you have. So I brought this one, the rice whiskey. I brought a American single malt out of Washington State called Westland. Kind of the first single malt, folks. There's a big push for single malt right now, and if bourbon ever starts to decline, I think single malt will kind of help raise it up because there's some big.
Got a follow-up question on that, but keep on going.
All right, so the rice whiskey, JT Mellick. I was curious because there's one of my customers, and it's 4-year-old, I think, and I was like, all right. So he's like, man, I want to see one of our bottles and let me know what you think. And we get that quite often at the research center. Andrew Weebrink, who I work with up there, and for whatever reason, I think they're sending it to Andrew mostly, but then I'm just there tasting with him. But Andrew's got a heck of a palate. But so he sends it up, and I pop it open, and I take a little whiff. I'm like, man, that smells pretty good. Like already, I'm super intrigued. Take a sip and sit there and taste it again. I'm like, that's really good. And then I start researching a little bit more online about it and the brand, and start seeing some other like Fred Minnick and some of those guys who had tasted it gave it really high reviews. Now, if you know Fred Minnick, he's 100% honest. He will dog a brand out or a whiskey and doesn't care, whose feelings get hurt when he does it. But he certainly gave them a real high. So, cool owner. They were a crawfish farmer and a rice farmer down in Louisiana, generational down there doing that, had excess rice available. What are we going to do with this? Let's make some whiskey out of it. And they did, and it turned out nice. And it's to not be a bourbon mash bill, it has a lot of the same characteristics, which, certainly come from the barrel. Not to say that the initial, White Dog was not good, but the barrel influence on this is right there in front of you. That's for sure.
I thoroughly enjoyed it.
You ever had crawfish?
Yes.
Have you really?
Yeah,
you like them?
Yeah, I like crawfish.
Yeah.
Yeah, this dude sent me a nice care package, too. Mike Frugier is the owner of this company.
It's a nice Cajun name.
It is, Frugier.
Yeah.
And he sent me a nice big care package of crawfish tails and andouille sausage and things like that.
Yeah.
So I've made several nice batches of jambalaya or whatever, over since I had it. We actually ran out. So
Yeah.
But no, they're good company, good family-owned people, real nice. Worked with them quite a while on the specific barrel type to work with. Because that's what we do a lot of up there in the research center is, Andrew and I work with our customers to try and lead them in the right direction on what barrel might work best with their product. Because it's not all the same.
Yeah. So I have a follow-up question. You mentioned single malt. And for Jeremy, I want you to tell him kind of a little bit more information about that.
So American Single Malt is made out of 100% malted barley. So there's no corn, there's no wheat, there's no rye, none of that. It's 100% malted barley.
Oh, okay.
Which is typically, and it's brewed up on the front end of the process, basically like a beer. And then they finish it into those pot stills usually. Single malt can be made on a column still, but most of it's made on a pot still. There's an American Single Malt Whiskey Association that is currently trying to get the TTB, who oversees all this whiskey, to put laws and rules in place to govern what American Single Malt is. So they make whiskey sort of like the Scotch and the Irish do on those pot stills, and it's just the American version of that.
Very cool.
Awesome.
You understand that? You understand that now?
Learn something every day. Every time he comes in here, we learn something.
We do. Bino oftentimes makes us realize we're not very smart again, but that's okay.
But we still
learn.
To drink it. Yeah.
But single malt can be put in a used barrel, a new barrel, so it's not like bourbon. So, all bourbon has to go in a new barrel, where single malt does not. It can be put in a new and used. A lot of people use a portion of new and used cooperage to blend those together at the end, like Westland. Westland has 3 different barrel types that they end up blending at the end of the aging process.
Good stuff.
Wow.
Steve Nally, we mentioned you celebrated 50 years in the bourbon industry in big time fashion at Bardstown Bourbon Company. The who's who of bourbon folks were there. I read an article that talked about that. You were a little bit emotional looking out amongst the folks that were there and understanding that you were the guy that they were honoring. Tell us a little bit about that night.
Well, I'm not a person that likes to have a lot of attention showed to me. I'm kind of a conservative person, I just don't like to have a lot of attention showed to me. But it was quite exciting to see all the people that I'd worked with or worked around all those years to come together, not just from the companies I'd worked with, but from all the bourbon industry, all the people out in the public, the companies, the different outfits that I'd worked with, the different suppliers I'd worked with, just different people that I'd worked with all those years that came together and supported me or had supported me over the years to come together and help me celebrate all those years I'd worked. So that was quite exciting.
When people mention names like Parker Beam and Elmer T. Lee, or the list goes on and on and on, and people mention Steve Nally in that realm of names, what goes through your mind?
Well, those people that you mentioned, Parker Beam, Booker Noe, Elmer T. Lee, they were the people that I considered pioneers of the industry. T.W. Samuels, all of those people were the ones that really, I don't want to say they created the bourbon, but they were the ones that brought it front and center. And, they saw bourbon come through, take the decline, and then brought it back again. And when I was growing up, they treated me, when I came into the industry, they treated me like I was one of them.
Yeah.
And, for that to happen, I thought, that was quite honoring. And, to be associated with that group is quite honorable.
Yeah.
So, I feel quite honored to be even included in that group.
You deservedly should be
absolutely
right there mentioned with those guys. So we got to get back to this twins talk.
Absolutely.
Y'all about to stir up some shit.
We got to get back to this.
About something else.
We got to. So I'm gonna our good buddy Ray Osborne. I'm not good buddies. We're watching the UK U of L game. Chad, your lovely bride Monty was there. Ethan, your mom, and we're talking about the show that's coming up, of course, and somehow the conversation got to a debate on which twin was going to be invited to this podcast.
Oh, they're always invited to every podcast.
Well, that's kind of what I said, but they wanted to make it territorial, like one or the other, and I told Monty, I said, listen, Monty, I'm more afraid of Mickey than I am of you. And that's how we ended the conversation. But Steve, you're still not going to go on record who's your favorite.
Well, best I remember serves me, you tried this bullshit last and it didn't work then either. So, twins, if you're listening, you're both my favorite.
Good answer.
That's awesome.
Kurt's your favorite son.
Kurt's my favorite
That's an easy answer, isn't it? All right, so I'm curious. Steve, we talked before when we had you on Two Shots. You mentioned the bourbon industry when you literally couldn't give away a bottle of bourbon. And now it is the hottest of hot that it's ever been. I remember you saying at that show, there will come a time that there will be some other spirit that will be the hot item. Where do you see bourbon, say, over the course of the next 10 years?
I think it's still going to be a very hot item. I don't think if it's reached its peak, it's just going to be plateauing. It's just such a hot item now that we're not even to the peak, I don't think, in the U.S. And we have foreign countries that are begging for it. There's foreign countries like China that's coming into the market that has never been in the market before. Russia has some claim to the market now. It's never been in the market before. So if some of those countries come in, and I heard one, I guess it was kind of a marketing quote the other day, that if we take over 2 or 3% of the Scotch market, we'll be in a crisis again because it's huge. It's just millions and millions of cases. So if things like that happen, I won't see the plateau of it. So we've got a long way to go. We're making more bourbon now than has been made ever. But if you look back 20 years ago, there was about 11 million barrels of bourbon in storage in Kentucky. We have now exceeded 12 million. So we have exceeded that number. But, we've still got a ways to go.
What's the biggest challenge to the bourbon industry as you see it right now?
Just keep the quality there. And I think we're doing a great job of it. I think the quality is right there on spot. Maybe we're going a little bit too much on flavors and finishes and stuff like that. People I see coming in the distillery, a lot of them are still wanting the pure bourbon, the straight off the still, unfinished. But there's still a huge market out there for finishes and, experiment with it, try new things. So we haven't reached that top of the category yet either. So, you know, I think stick to the basics and still experiment with the flavors and the finishes and, you know, stuff like that too. But stick with the basics also.
So, Ethan, are you kind of an old school guy? Would you say with respect to bourbon?
Yes, I feel like I am.
Yeah, because I think about like my son Patrick's 21 years old, and he's into you don't call it bourbon, but whiskeys that have been infiltrated with whether it's apple flavoring or stuff like that. And he asked me the other day, he was like, I said, I was all out of bourbon at the time. And he's like, well, I've got such and such out in the barn. Go out there and get it. And I was like, that's not bourbon. Is that you? Is that you? You're like, I've got to have bourbon.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I don't. I've had my fair share of liqueur, like finished
out of Daddy's stash.
Jim Beam green apple.
Yeah. So I've had my fair share of that, and I don't plan to go back. I like the traditional stuff more than ever now.
Yeah. Jim, I'm a little shocked. Patrick's only 21. He's been coming to my house for liquor for 6 years.
now I find out who the supplier is. Good gosh almighty.
Sorry,
well,
dude.
if I can add to that a little bit, I think there's a big difference between infused and finished. Mm-hmm. You know, infused products are a little bit artificial tasting to me, and if they're finished in something, they have more of a natural flavor profile.
One of the things I remember about when you were on the show, Steve, and you came in, and we had our limited stash of bourbon at the time. And you kind of looked around a little bit, and you're like, I'm kind of a weeded bourbon guy. Are you still a weeded bourbon guy?
I still am. I mean, you know, it's just got that smooth, easy drinking flavor profile, and, you know, you can sit there and sip on it and really enjoy it. You know, rye is a great product. I'm starting to kind of go that way a little bit, but rye has more mouthful feeling. You know, it's got more of the
It's got a little burn.
Well, don't call it burn, just call it flavor burst of flavor. You know, it's just it's got a little more spice, peppery flavor. It's got a lot more going for it, and you know, it's got its place, and it's very good. But you know, for as far as just pouring some over ice and just sitting and relaxing and sipping on it, I'm still the wheat guy.
Yeah.
Still 100 proof? Still right there?
Yeah, that's still, you know, if it gets too much, if it gets over about 110, 115, then it's a little bit warm. I like to add a little water or a couple of cubes of ice, let them melt a little bit.
Down.
So I still like not much over 110, 115.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. We'll come back and we'll wrap the show up. But we do need to give a little shout out to our buddies from Cross the Line 1524, podcast that originates out of Indiana. Believe it or not, Indiana, Kentucky can be friends.
They can be, and they're actually on the beach right now, just sitting back in their Speedos, enjoying life.
I got a text from Jeff Montag that says, I bet you wish you were here right now. Yes, I do, Jeff. I wish I was in Florida right now.
They invited me. God.
No, I got invited too.
Oh, yeah, I bet they did.
I'm going next time.
Well,
All right, stick around.
I've got some people in Destin that 60 degrees or freezing, but
I want to go. I'm going to go.
Are you looking for a clean, fun podcast that you can relate to? Well, we've got it for you. Cross the Line. The 1524 originates out of Indiana. Former high school rivals, now our buddies sitting around a speakeasy bar, talking about common day events, common things. We keep it light, they keep it easy. It's a good time. Check out Cross the Line, 1524. You can find it on all the podcast apps and players. You can also check them out at crosstheline1524.com or check them out on Facebook, Cross the Line 1524. Back to Two Shots on a Barrel, hanging out with some, I'm going to
call you all three legends because I'm telling you, 3 generations in the bourbon industry is pretty daggum impressive.
So yeah, Ethan will carry on the Spalding name, of course, not the Nally name, but he's probably 75% Nally. He looks like his mama, thank goodness. He got the bourbon background with his grandfather.
There's not any truth that he's thinking about changing his name to Ethan Alley.
I haven't heard that, but I don't know. Maybe it happened behind the back there. I don't know.
It'd be a good name of a bourbon, Ethan Alley.
There you go.
That would be.
I like it. I like that.
We're having a lot of fun today, enjoying some Buzzard's Roost, which I've got to tell you was very, very good. As was, how do you say that? J.T. Mellick?
Yeah.
J.T. Mellick, rice whiskey.
Yeah.
Which is very interesting. And
speaking of that,
you're going to try do a little refill action.
Jim, I'd like to give a shout out to the owners of that company. If you'd like to send a couple cases of that up here, we would take it off your hands.
We would not. Wow. Absolutely.
I'll let him know to listen to this podcast so he understands, that I did promote his product.
It was very good. I enjoyed it.
And if anybody knows anybody at Bardstown Bourbon Company, we would love to have a bottle of theirs as well.
Yes, because
I'm just saying.
I'll pass the word along.
I think you said that the last time, like 3 years ago.
Jim complained for a year straight. Man, he still hadn't dropped that bottle off yet. Man.
He was like pulling my leg, J-Bo.
I think he was.
You moved on me.
Yeah, I'm sure you went over there and knocked on the door several times, didn't you, Steve?
You knew where we kept that stash.
Hey, listen, but I got to tell you, he took us in the back door at the Bardstown Bourbon booth there at the festival, and he hooked us up, and there was long lines for the Bardstown Bourbon Old Fashions, and Steve took care of us, so we'll let you buy with it this time.
A little bit. Not forgiven, just let me buy
Yeah. No, actually, we probably owe you a couple. I mean, we've been hanging out, the last couple of years with Steve at the world-famous barrel relay contest, and we're, the fact that Steve hasn't kicked us out yet, that we appreciate that, Steve.
Well, the only bad thing about that, you're sitting over there eating sandwiches and hoagies and all that.
Yeah.
I'm out there working.
I know Steve never takes a break.
He doesn't.
He never takes a break.
And Jim never stops eating.
That's true. But it's part of my gig. I've got to promote the food trucks.
That's right.
They say, make sure you promote the food trucks. So, how do you promote food trucks if you don't partake
That's true.
in food trucks?
That's true.
All right. So, Bino, you mentioned this thing. We were talking about the future of the bourbon industry, and Steve had mentioned we haven't really even gotten to the top. You see that with your job every day.
Yeah, certainly, and it's we better hope that bourbon doesn't take a downturn because lots of folks are laying down lots of barrels over the last 5 years. It's been phenomenal. I mean, we're setting records every single year. 2024 is going to be will be the biggest year that ISC has ever had on the spirits barrel side. So it's ridiculous, but fun to see the growth. Now, the growth is more, kind of straight up and down, where normally during, a business would like to see growth kind of, kind of follow a 45-degree angle and not a 90. But, you got to take it when you can get it, and we are. But, I mean, there's distilleries just like Buzzard's Roost. I mean, they're probably a 5-year-old brand now. And, all these that I brought in here, JT Mellick, there's just so many new brands popping up. And then more and more distilleries are popping up. I mean, here in just Lebanon, we have $275 million distillery project, the Pernod Ricard, Jefferson's brand, the home of. You got Whiskey House over in Elizabethtown. We'll be cranking up 2024 this summer. You got Denny Potter and Jane Boyd, who left Maker's Mark over in Springfield, who, January 25 startup is what their target is. Willett's building another distillery in Springfield. So, just keep expanding. Bardstown just dropped another 36-inch column steel in, so they had 42. Oh, 42, sorry. So they had two 36-inch column steels, which can produce, 50,000 barrels a year and drop a 42 in. They're expanding. Heaven Hill's building a new distillery in Bardstown. Jim Beam over at Booker, they've put a $400 million expansion project in place. It just keeps, everybody's playing for this, long run that bourbon, like Steve was talking about. If you get, a certain percentage, a tiny percentage of the Scotch drinkers to switch over and drinking bourbon, or if you get, 1% of the population of India who has 5 billion people to start drinking bourbon, or China, so they're laying it down in hopes that there is, those people start to catch on to bourbon and, switch over. Now, recently, agave spirits or tequila has been kind of a hot, spirits brand or type, I guess. They, but and even then they barrel aged a lot of tequila and agave spirits these days too, which is so we probably sell over 100,000 new barrels just to tequila producers, or maybe more than that. So it's not a bad thing that's taken off because they're barrel aging a lot of it these days. But yeah, so the runway seems certain to be long. I mean, we're investing a lot at Independence Day. We got a new cooperage that we just started a year ago in Moorhead, Kentucky. So we have 3 cooperages now. We have 10 stave mills, 11th one on the way that produce, the pieces to feed those cooperages. So, certainly Brad Boswell and Independence Stave feel like that there's still a long runway because, we're putting a lot of money into the investment side to be able to make more barrels for the future.
Wow. 2 of the names Bino mentioned are future guests on Two Shots. Trey Zettler with Jefferson's Reserve, and Denny Potter and Jane Bowie are both going to be future guests on Two Shots. Yeah, exciting things when you consider what's going on in the bourbon industry, J-Bo.
We've had a lot of guests come in here and talk about Mr. Boswell and how awesome of a guy he is, and how if it weren't for him, they would don't know where they'd be in life. Oh, we need to get him in here.
Yeah, he's hard to pin down, but Brad is pretty accessible, and he just doesn't live around here. But he's big involvement in the communities, as you all well know. And, but he will blow your mind with some of the stuff that Brad Boswell can spit out. He remembers guys' names from 10 years ago that he hadn't seen in 10 years.
Really,
he would. It blows my mind. He when he's around groups of folks or customer related events, and the amount of people that he knows their names, remembers their wives' names, their kids. His mind is a trap, and you can tell me something right now when I walk out here.
You're forgetting
20
it.
minutes.
Yeah.
Sorry, bud. I mean,
if I told you, man, you were going for pizza, you would remember that shit.
Well, you talking
That's
to a
an
fat
important
boy.
thing. Yeah.
You're talking to a fat boy. You talking about love language, man.
That's so awesome. Ethan Spalding, what's the future hope for you, brother?
I don't know. I'm just not really going to have anything set in mind for me personally. Yeah. But, I mean, the bourbon industry in itself with me in it, kind of like what these two were saying, that the industry right now is so crazy. I mean, Buzzard Juice is a product of the bourbon boom, not necessarily a part of the bourbon boom, growing. So us being a product of the bourbon boom is different in my sight because we're still, one of the small guys. You see them in a liquor store, you never heard of us. Probably not going to pick us up unless you want to dive into something different. I think we make damn good products, so I would push it out there as much as I can. But for us as a company right now, we have a lot of really cool stuff coming out next year that's going to kind of help us grow or fit the mold of a bourbon company right now on product-wise. But for me personally, like I said, not really looking for anything specific, just going to keep my head down and
keep learning.
Yeah, keep learning as much as I can, as fast as I can, make mistakes. I mean, that's how you learn. So make as many mistakes as possible without,
Yeah. Steve Nally, you never made a mistake in your career, did you?
That's the way you learn about it.
Exactly.
I mean, you watch other people and try to take in as much as you can. And then when you do it on your own, you hope you do it the way that you learned.
Yeah.
And, when I first went to Wyoming, I thought this is my opportunity to prove what I've learned. And I did pretty good. But the first first few days trying to start that distillery up, they were long-ass days. Yeah. And trying to do it at 4,200 feet elevation was a totally different.
It was a game changer, wasn't it?
Yeah, because the boiling point at 4,200 feet is not 212 degrees.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, they didn't know that anyway. That was the boiling point.
Right.
I didn't know that.
What is the boiling point at
204.
204. You learned it, didn't you?
I soon did, because that steel was spitting out shit that I never knew.
All right, so Steve, I got to tell you, I probably need to kiss some butt right now, J-Bone.
Well, it's about time you start kissing some butt.
All right, so on at least 2 occasions that I can remember, I have seen Steve's Hall of Fame wife, and I've said, we've got to have you on the show. And it's not happened. And now, to make matters worse, we're having Steve on for the second time.
Yeah,
I'm going to be in trouble with Don and Allie.
I'm pretty sure she's the nicest lady I've ever met in my life.
She is fabulous, and do you hear me now, Donna? I'm kissing your tail. I'm sorry we haven't had you on.
You should be ashamed of yourself.
Why? Because I haven't had her on. You were supposed to set that up.
You got her number. I just sit there.
Well, Donna, I know you're listening to this. We want to have you on the show. Humongous. I mean, she's Hall of Fame, right? Hall of Fame in the bourbon industry. She was really instrumental. Steve, you talked about this in the early days of the Bourbon Trail. Donna was instrumental in the Bourbon Trail.
Well, she actually developed the tour at Maker's Mark. The tour program was set up for Bill Samuel's sister, Leslie, and Donna went in to help her out, but she didn't really do it justice, so Donna ended up developing the program.
Wow.
And most every tour that you see in the industry is pretty much tailored after the one at Maker's Mark.
Yeah.
And Donna and 2 other ladies were instrumental in setting up the Bourbon Trail. And then Donna was on the formation committee of the Bourbon Festival.
Yeah.
So that's what led her into being inducted into the Hall of Fame.
Wow.
And Donna and I are the only living couple in the Bourbon Hall of Fame.
How about that?
So,
awesome.
How about that?
The other couple, which are no longer living, is Bill and Margie Samuels.
It's pretty good company right there, Steve and Allie.
So that's the...
So you've got on record saying essentially as long as you enjoy doing what you're doing, you're going to keep on doing it.
That's my plans right now.
Yeah.
I don't have any intention.
Many people may not know the fact that you actually did retire from the bourbon industry, so to speak. At least
I slowed down.
And then it was that call from Wyoming that kind of got you back into it.
I actually drove a semi for 4 years, hauling grain to distilleries.
Did you learn that at Maker's Mark? I mean,
well, I drove a truck at Maker's Mark, yeah.
Wow.
And I kept in touch with delivering grain to distilleries, so I stayed in contact. And then 3 attorneys from Wyoming contacted me per Rob at Vendome, Rob Sherman, and asked me if I'd be interested in coming out there and starting the first legal distillery in the state. And they emphasized legal.
Yeah, yeah.
So I went out there and started Wyoming Whiskey.
Wow.
And did that for 6.5 years. And then Peter Lofton contacted me about this project, so I came back to Kentucky and oversaw this.
So you came back, what year was that you came back?
2014.
2014.
Yeah.
Wow.
Good stuff, boys. I'm so glad y'all had some time together and come see us.
No, certainly. Yeah,
Good
we
stuff.
appreciate the opportunity. Always good to hang out with the family and you guys. And we, I mean, anytime somebody invites us to sit around a round table and drink whiskey, I mean,
Yeah, that's
I ain't saying no, that's for sure.
Have you guys done a podcast like this one?
Oh, not together. No. This is the first, y'all.
This is the first.
First one with all 3 of us, for sure.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah. I mean, this is cool. I mean, when you consider granddad, grandson, Monty's husband.
Just like a chain link over here. Just tying the two together.
Call it the middleman.
I'm used to that.
Oh, my goodness. Well, I got to tell you, I appreciate you guys.
Ethan, you got to have us down there to, for that special tour. We were supposed to come see you, and we missed it. But we want to come see you now that you're there and doing your thing.
Yeah, come see me anytime. I'll probably be
anytime after 10 a.m. I've learned.
Yeah, 11 o'clock.
11 o'clock.
Yeah,
That's
11
right.
o'clock.
That's right. 11 o'clock. You'll run smack into the door if you don't.
You
So I figure Steve just celebrated his 50th year or two ago. I figured the 60th will surely get an invite.
We might. He said something about taking us to lunch, and gosh, it's kind of like that bottle.
I do remember that.
Kind of like the bottle. It didn't happen.
Steve likes to pull your leg a lot.
He does.
He likes to pull your leg a lot.
And
like,
you know what? And
keep you hanging.
You keep giving him credit for taking us at the Bourbon Festival in the back and giving us that drink.
Didn't he?
It was his lovely wife. Said,
You're right.
These
Dang
boys
it.
are thirsty.
Don't you ruining my image now.
Dang it.
Giving me credit
I
now.
just
You
remembered
took it
that.
all away.
This is all about Donna. You know what I've learned then? The secret to getting what you want is going through Donna.
Absolutely. All
right, Steve, you're off my list, buddy.
Well, there goes your bottle that I won't ever bring.
Hey, guys, it's been a pleasure. We appreciate each of you guys. Come back anytime. Steve, if you're in town and you just want to stop by, we've got a bottle of Larceny up there that's got your name on it.
Okay.
We would love to have a bottle of Bardstown Bourbon that's got your name on it, and you could drink it anytime you wanted to.
Okay. I'll hold you to that.
You got it.
If I remember.
All right, it's a pleasure. 3 generations
We love
in
everyone
the
of them.
bourbon. Yeah, great dudes.
Appreciate it, guys.
By the way, one thing we didn't get to, and we're on the outro here, but Ethan, and he's a guitar guy, which
Really?
makes me love him that much more. And next time we have him on, we're going to have him play guitar.
Thank you, Chad, for everything you do.
Appreciate you guys.
Thank you all.
All right, next time on 2 Shots, I'm Jimbo.
I'm Jimbo.